Visit Pokemon Card Market and buy Pokemon cards from base set up to latest evolution set with best prices, secured system and easy handling. Only for European players. How's it going, guys? Once again, welcome back to Pokémon TCG Center. In today's video, we'll be looking at the deck for the standard format, of course, and this is a Lurantis Vileplume Trevenant-EX. So a version 2.0 definitely of my previously Lurantis-GX Vileplume deck that I made. So I decided to make few adjustments so I can have actually better consistency and add Trevenant-EX as a support attacker just against those Glaceon Crystal Rays, because once Glaceon used the Crystal Ray against me, I'm not gonna be able to win that game anymore. I mean, I can always try to do something with my Lysandres and Sky Returns, but that's just not gonna be that effective, because 70 from the Crystal Ray and maybe 10 more from the Fighting Fury Belt is gonna be 80 per turn. And if I simply cannot attack, because all of my main attackers are gonna be Lurantis. I mean, backup attacker can be Vileplume just in case you don't have another Lurantis, or even Shaymin for the Sky Return, but that's just gonna be not enough. So I decided to add Trevenant-EX as a backup, because with a Dark Force and 180 HP, it can also buy a couple turns, preventing my opponent under item lock to retreat. Just because striking for 20 and preventing your opponent from being able to retreat until you maybe find that crucial Lysandre for the win can be huge. But also Wood Blast in a late game, bumping up more and more Trevenant, can be for 50 plus 20 more for each grass energy attached to Trevenant. So as the base attack, Wood Blast will go for 110. 2 times 110 is going to be 220, more than enough to 2-hit knockout Glaceon-EX with Fighting Fury Belt. Overall, the deck list is a little bit improved. I decided to add a couple more Acro Bikes and more Weakness Policies. That's just the reason, because I think that Volcanion is going to be the biggest problem for this deck. Overall, I have to be honest, I don't want to lie to you, so I will tell you how many victories I actually have. I played 27 times and I managed to win 18 times with my Lurantis-GX deck. So overall, that's more than 70% of the win ratio with this deck. So also 6 games played with this build and I managed to get 5 victories, only 1 defeat. So that's like 90+% of the win ratio, definitely, or something like that. It really doesn't matter. The numbers are definitely here, but the deck list speaks for itself. So it's a pretty simple deck list. All you really need to do is just, speaking about strategy, get that Vileplume turn 1, and that's just it. Only thing you should probably maybe thinking about considering is going to be Timer Ball. Not a huge fan of it, because you need to flip a coin, so I decided just to go with 2 copies of Level Ball, because Level Ball will allow me to take Oddish and Gloom, and basically with the Ultra Ball I can go for the Vileplume, so that's just it. Without flipping a coin, without anything, I can always Level Ball also for my Fomantis, so I'm just all about Level Ball and that Ultra Ball. Overall, 16 Pokemon, 34 trainer cards, and I just decided to keep 10 energies as I did that in my version 1.0. So pretty much everything stays the same except for that Trevenant swap with the Pinsir. I was also testing the deck with a Pinsir with the Leafeon-EX. Leafeon is also pretty decent attacker, because it can strike for 90, and if the Stadium is in play, that's going to be 120, and also it can heal 30 damage from itself. Actually, it's going to just strike for the 90, but overall I think Trevenant is going to be much better, because for the single energy it can just prevent the opponent from being able to retreat, which is a huge thing under the item lock. So yeah, 4-3 line of the Fomantis and a Lurantis, 2-2-2 line of the Vileplume, and 1 Trevenant-EX. I was also thinking a lot about Wobbuffet with that Bite Barricade, because just after my opponent managed somehow to take the knockout, I can always have Wobbuffet with the Bite Barricade and Float Stone. I can promote it in the front and I can just buy a turn, being able to play item cards under the item lock, because I can just shut down my irritating Pullen and then I can just use my Revitalizer, Trainers Mail, attach Weakness Policy, search my Float Stone or something like that with the Trainers Mails. But still, that can also be the game-breaking position for my opponent if he can somehow turn one under the item lock, manage to Lysandre, for example, let's say my Wobbuffet, and just use the turn for the setup. That can be a huge thing, especially in the mid or late game, where he can just maybe even get a V-Seeker for that crucial Lysandre and just knock me out or knock something on my bench. So that's the reason why I actually think not to putting Wobbuffet in the deck, but Wobbuffet can also be very, very powerful tech for this deck, so also keep that in mind. So from the item cards, running also 4 copies of Acro Bike, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one of them, discard the other one, and that's just pretty much it. Very simple. It will allow you to go through your cards pretty quickly, and it will allow you to also discard some energies in your discard pile, so you can simply power them up with the flower supply. 2 copies of Level Ball, as I mentioned it earlier, for 90 HP or less Pokemon Surge. So Oddish, Gloom, and Fomantis can be found with the Level Ball. 2 copies of Revitalizer, of course, very good card, especially because under the setup and under the process of setup, probably you're going to throw out a lot of grass Pokemons in your discard pile, so with the Revitalizer you can just pick them up and put in play. 4 copies of Trainers Mails, very important for the consistency. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal trainer card, put it in your hand, that's just it. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, of course, discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do that, search your deck for a Pokemon Rail, put it into your hand. Very good for the Shaymin, of course, and setup. 4 copies of Forest of the Giant Plants, and basically that will allow you to put your grass Pokemons like they're without waiting for a turn, so that's the reason why Forest of the Giant Plant is very good. And then running 2 copies of Lysandres for the double Lysandre, and of course ability to maybe knock out some of your opponent Pokemons on the bench, maybe even with your Lurantis-GX in case he just trying to prepare something huge. We can always have that double Lysandre. I was also thinking about maybe finding a space for 3 Lysandres, but that's just overkill in my opinion. Also 2 copies of N and 4 Sycamores for job, so only 6 job supporters. Also, one possible supporter as a tech could be maybe Misty Determination, because it's a very good supporter card, which will allow you to basically look at the top 8 cards of your deck. Of course, in order to do that, you need to discard 1 card from your hand, and you can just pick any card you find there. In my opinion, it's a very good card, but running only 1 single card probably is not gonna help that often. But sometimes it can actually happen, so Wobbuffet and Misty Determination can also be 2 possible techs for this deck. 3 copies of Float Stones, of course. When you have Float Stone attached to one of your Pokemon in play, you can have free retreat. Simply, Float Stone, very good card, attached to Vileplume. Have it free retreat, no worry about Lysandre, especially in a mirror match. Your opponent will not be able to one-hit knock your Vileplume. Of course, 3 weakness policies as a main item in this deck. We really need to have weakness policy on our Lurantis-GX, so our opponent cannot basically one-hit knock out Lurantis. Very important, and I decided to go with 10 grass energies. Also, maybe something that you can consider about tech in this deck can be something like, let's say, 1 copy of Rattata as a tech, because when you put Rattata on the bench, you can just scrap tools from your opponent Pokemon in play, which can also be very powerful, especially in a mirror match, when you can see that your opponent does not have any more energies, and you can just play Rattata, Lysandre and Vileplume Rattata, and just pass and leave your opponent Vileplume in the front with 3 energies, and he's probably not going to be able to retreat without Olympia, where you can just smile to his face and let him deck out and grab a victory. So 3 possible techs for this deck can be also included, but overall I think this is a very, very good and powerful deck list, and I highly recommend to everyone who actually would like to play this deck to use this deck and to play with it and to take this and to try to play this deck list, because I simply think it's very good. So let's do some gameplay so you can actually see this deck in action, but you can also find my previous version and 2 live streams, like 5 hours of pure gameplay with this deck, so you can also see how this deck works. So see you in the game. Okay, so my opponent will start first, so let's take the look at the opening hand. So, couple of Fomantis with Forest of the Giant Plant and Lurantis as a turn 1, so not bad. Solgaleo GX is on the other side, so that is gonna be very powerful attack from that Solgaleo GX. Now he can simply one-hit knock out my Lurantis-GX, but I can always use advantage with the item lock, so without Rare Candy, my opponent will definitely have hard time setting him up. Oh, a Mega Steelix. Okay. Finally Mega Steelix is playable. Finally Mega Steelix is playable. So, a Trainer's Mail. I mean, Mega Steelix was also playable with the Carbon Break. And to be honest, somehow I even prefer that deck with the Carbon Break instead of the Solgaleo. Solgaleo is better maybe in experiment with the Bronzong. So you can strike 230 per turn. But that's just, again, my opinion. Sycamore for 7. And I will need Revitalizer to set up my item lock. Speaking about Revitalizer, I just found one, so Acro Bike really doesn't matter. Any of these two cards are going to be discarded. Ultra Ball, Sycamore and Grass Energy. For what? For Oddish, of course. Then I'm gonna play a Revitalizer. I'm gonna get 2 Glums so I can Ultra Ball for free. Actually not for free, but for energy and for a Glum. There we go. I can see my opponent conceding right now, probably. So I still have one more Ultra Ball for another setup. That's gonna be great. So Shaymin for 5. What can I found here? 2 Float Stones. Perfect. Another Lurantis. A Acro Bike. For the Trainers Mail. And then Trainers Mail for Sycamore, and I can have Sycamore next turn. I can Ultra Ball, of course. Something like a Shaymin one more time, or I can just go with a Ultra Ball. Well, let's just go for the Ultra Ball and let's get that Vileplume. Yeah, let's be sure that we will have that Vileplume in play. And I really don't need my top deck or supporter card. I have item lock, that's the most importantly, and I can just use my flower supply, hit for 40, attach 2 energies to my Lurantis in the front. Next turn go for 120 or even for one hit knock with my GX attack, eliminating his Steelix from play. So basically without 3 more energies, Steelix is unavailable to do anything. I'm in good position. I'm definitely in good position. I don't have any card in my hand, but I don't worry too much about that. I have that item lock, and I could even have Shaymin for 6 more, but I decided not to take a risk. Top deck, just a Vileplume. That's so sarcastic. Sword Blade for 120. Well, next turn I can go for 40, knocking him out and just adding 1 more energy. If Solgaleo enters the play, this is gonna be very, very problematic, definitely, because he can strike for 230 from nowhere. Well, hopefully that's not gonna happen. There is set up for 1. I don't see supporter in my opponent's hand, so I'm happy. Another Lurantis for me. And flower supply for 40. Attaching 1 of my energies onto my another Lurantis on the bench. 2 prize cards, so it's another Forest and another Oddish. None of these 2 cards are useful right now, but Steelix is knocked out, my opponent is under item lock. Definitely Solgaleo as a top deck and energy could just knock out my Lurantis with 230 damage, but then he needs to discard all 3 energies attached to him, where on the other side I can still buy a turn or 2 using my flower supply and still powering up my another Lurantis. So yeah, Sunsteel Strike probably is gonna happen. But again, 3 turns to attach energies are gonna be too much. In my opinion, that's just gonna be way too much. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's Sunsteel Strike for 230. It took a little bit of time, but overall he decided to knock out my Lurantis. One of probably the powerful attacks in the play. Sunsteel Strike for 230. That's a lot of damage counter in my if you ask me. Okay, so Flower Supply 40, and I'm gonna attach 2 energies. 2 energies onto my Lurantis means that next turn I can go for 120. Attaching 3 energies requires 3 turns. But of course, you can always use your Soul Burst, for example, and get that energy acceleration. But if that happened, I'm just gonna retreat down to my Oddish and let my opponent knocks out my Lurantis if he really wants to do that. I can definitely give him that opportunity. Or even better, if I tops energy, I can just strike for 200 and then wait for another energy as a top so I can just knock him out with my Oddish. That's gonna be so broken. Really is gonna be so broken. Only 1 energy here. Oh, Lysandre. Onto my Oddish. Okay. Maybe he misses a energy card here. Maybe not. Oh, there is a double course energy and Ultra Rod. So yeah, he can switch on the bench. Well played. He can switch on the bench. I'm gonna just stop a Weakness Policy. Okay, so he managed to get retreat on the bench with the Ultra Rod. Oh, and okay, that's fine. That's fine. So right now I need 2 more energies for the 1-hit knockout, and of course Lysandre. Speaking about 2 more energies, I managed to find 1. Need 2 more. Not sure how many Lysandres my opponent played. 2 of them. Okay, so I wouldn't say he ran 3 Lysandres. Nobody runs 3 Lysandres. That's insane. There's also Dratini. And my turn. Okay, so top is a energy, and there is another energy. Gonna just pass. I could even just pay 1 energy, retreat, attack, but there's another opportunity to find energy and M. Okay, energy and Lysandre actually for the Shaymin. Okay, Lysandre. Five energies in my Lurantis. Is that gonna be it? Energy and Lysandre. Well, there is a Lysandre, but there is no energy again. Gonna put my Fomantis, gonna put my Lurantis, and gonna pass my turn, so just digging for that energy. And it's gonna be 250 knockout down to his Solgaleo, and after that, I think that's gonna be it. Another Metal Energy attached, so can he finally find a way maybe to knock on my Lurantis? We'll see. Alright, so my turn, a Level Ball top deck. Let's just pretend we don't have nothing, but actually I have Lysandre. Alright, 1 energy, 1 piece of energy. That's when you tries to play another Oddish on your bench. Lysandre happened. but it's better than it's a Oddish instead of a Lurantis for 2 prizes. Good thing for my opponent is that he can always use that Ultra Rod and just switch his active Pokemon with one of his banished Pokemon. So if I even played my Lysandre, he could just escape on the bench and I would just waste my opportunity for the knockout. So there is another N. That was like 4th or 5th N in a row. Oh, okay, Energy and Lysandre. That was all I was really need. I'm gonna just retreat and I'm gonna play my Lysandre on his Solgaleo, and that's just it. 250 with my GX attack, knocking out his Solgaleo with a single shot, taking 2 prize cards, which is a Trainers Mail and another N. And yeah, I still don't see how my opponent can win. I mean, of course, with his Dragon's Wish, next turn he can attach as many energies as he wants to these Pokemons, but without Rare Candy, simply he cannot evolve into that Solgaleo, and that's just unfortunately it. Alright, so it's all about a coin flip. If you can start first, you can item lock your opponent on turn 1, prevent him from being able to play max elixirs, tool cards, item cards, which is very powerful, especially with a Lurantis acceleration. So I'm gonna start with the Shaymin-EX. That's not good. Actually, Shaymin-EX setup is very often in this deck. Really, it is. So Yveltal on the other side. Okay. Not gonna broke just because I started here with my Shaymin. Let's say top deck Ultra Ball or even better Acro Bike for Ultra Ball can be very huge. Especially if I can then just try to play Lysandre and buy some time to set up under the item lock, for example, but probably that's not gonna happen. There is one Fighting Fury Belt, Darkness Energy to Darkrai, and N. Oh my gosh, that N was huge. Because my hand was very bad and I had just 2 Float Stones. And of course, you don't want to discard your Float Stones at the turn 1. So Acro Bike, 2 Level Balls, Gloom ×2, and Lurantis. Okay, what's gonna be top deck? Aggress Energy. Alright, so Level Ball is gonna be for 1 Oddish, and Fomantis will be for another Level Ball. Then I'm gonna try to get a supporter card, if it's somehow possible, with my Acro Bike. If not, I'm gonna be in problems. Well, Trainers Mail, we are keep digging here. Come on, give me the Ultra Ball. Sycamore. Okay, I can even take that Sycamore. Even better. Sycamore for 7. I will need something like a Revitalizer here right now, so Trainers Mail. Another Sycamore. Yeah, why not? Acro Bike for Ultra Ball. Nope, but I'm still keep digging. Okay. Nothing here. Alright, never mind. Never mind. No item lock turn 1, but still in a game. Darkrai is capable to strike for tons of damage, already for 90. And luckily, without Float Stone, my opponent will not be able to retreat. He can always play Escape Rope, of course. Even better. Oh, no energy with the Max Elixir. Okay. I have Sycamore for 7 next turn. Or even better, my opponent have Sycamore for N. I like that. I definitely like that. Okay, Vileplume and Revitalizer. That means only one thing. I have, for example, right now, 100% item lock. And even better, I have Lysandre for that Hoopa. So I'm gonna Lysandre my opponent Hoopa for sure. Oh no, XP share on Hoopa. That was very bad. Oh, another Float Stone? Yeah, I can take that. Okay, so Revitalizer is gonna be for Gloom and a Lurantis. Of course, I want to put my Gloom and I want to put my Lurantis in play. I can attach my Float Stone to my Shaymin, so I don't need to discard energy here. And I can buy some time here Lysandring his Hoopa. Very, very bad decision with my opponent. Tool attachment to Hoopa, that is not a Float Stone. Okay, so right now I can strike for 200 with my Chlorisite GX. And I just need another Lysandre to perform that. So there is Sycamore for my opponent, and he already has 4 energies. That's 110 damage, base damage with his Darkrai. Next turn I can go for 120, or even better I can go for one more turn with the 40 damage. Sycamore will be for 7, so let's see. Okay, nothing can be played here, so I really need to use my Solar Blade for 120. I really don't want to attach more energies to my Lurantis. I have enough energies attached already, so next turn gonna be N, hopefully for another Fomantis, so I can power up my another Lurantis. Of course, from nowhere, he can find a Hex Maniac, shut down my Vileplume ability, attach Float Stone to Garbodor, and that's it. And that's simply it. Oh no, another bad hand for me. Time for another Oddish, definitely. And time for another Solar Blade here for 120. Alright, with 5 energies in play, my opponent is still far from the knockout with a single shot. Where on the other side, I will probably have next turn another, at least Fomantis in play if it's not going to be Lurantis-GX. Alright, another M, okay. I need 1 energy and I can go for the 1-hit knockout. I really didn't want to attach 1 more energy to my Lurantis right now, but that's gonna be a Dark Pulse for a huge 150. That's a lot of damage counters, really it is. Really it is. So I really want to 1-hit knock out his Darkrai, but that's the price that I will need to pay, and it's actually gonna be a huge price here because I'm gonna lose all of my resources right now, all 5 energies, but who cares? Really, who cares about that? 5 energies, 7 energies, 8 energies. I'm gonna play Sycamore for 7. Okay, I still have more energies. Well, that's just 250. Really it is, 250. A lot of damage counters. I use my GX attack, and I'm really afraid about N on the other side. But my opponent can go for 100 max. So he can strike for 100 damage max. In the meantime, I can just power up my another Lurantis, even better Trevenant. I have Lysandre, which is definitely gonna buy me some time here. Lysandring his Garbodor on the bench. Okay, time to promote that Plume in the front. Time to put my Fomantis, time to put my Lurantis on the bench, attach Grass Energy, of course perform that Lysandre onto his Garbodor, a retreat to Lurantis, and start to use my Flower Supply and start to attach energies down to my Trevenant, of course, and down to my Lurantis. Okay. Overall, I think I'm gonna win this. 1 more Lysandre would be all I really need, but I already played 2 of them. So I'm gonna be short for 1. But another Flower Supply, 40 more damage. 2 more energies to my Trevenant. That's 130 base damage right now. That's gonna be 150. So I have 4 energies. That's 130, and next turn I can use one more Flower Supply and add 2 more energies to my Trevenant, and that's gonna be more than enough to one-hit knock out his Darkrai. Alright, let's go. Another Flower Supply. That's the knockout, and 2 more energies. Okay. So 6 energies, 120, and the 50, that's 170. Okay, so I underestimated, and I counted wrong there, so I will need 1 more Flower Supply for the knockout actually here. So I don't have a single energy left in my deck. However, this is going to be a Dark Pulse for 140. And of course, after that 140, I'm going to use another Flower Supply and add a couple more energies to my Trevenant. 1 to Trevenant, 1 down to my Shaymin. In case of the Lysandre, so I'm not going to be able to retreat. So with 7 energies, that's 190, and that's going to be enough for the knockout. Even if he retreats his Darkrai on the bench, he can't do too much because Trevenant can just one-hit knock out the Darkrai, and that's it. So a pretty simple, even without explosive setup, I managed to win the game at the end. So I hope you guys enjoy watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. As always, if you have any questions, don't forget to leave comments below. So till the next time, have a nice day, see you in the next video, and goodbye.